My good people, my good people. Hello, world. I'd like to welcome y'all back to the show that's hot with your boy Rob Scott. This is Robs2Cents. How y'all been? Hope y'all had a great, productive week so far. Hope you guys are enjoying yourselves, getting back into the swing of things as people's made their return to work. I know I'm tired. Your boy's even a little bit under the weather. So I hope you guys are able to bear with me as I try to bring as much energy as I can. But you know how the old cliche goes. The show must go on. And considering how this is Rob's 2 cents and I'm Rob, I gotta make sure I bring y'all that fire. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I appreciate the number of views that I'm seeing that my videos are getting. I love that you guys are supporting the show, and I hope that you guys are enjoying the show. And I'm going to keep bringing that fire to you. But with sports as my topic of conversation, how can I not bring that fire after we seen all of the fire games that we saw this past weekend in the NFL Wildcard playoff games? Man, we saw some great games. We saw some nail biters. We saw some teams jump out the gate and put hurtings on teams. Oh, we got a lot to discuss. And we're going to get right into it because as we look at game one on Saturday afternoon, on that first game of the NFL Wildcard playoffs, we saw the Buffalo Bills versus the Indianapolis Colts. Now, you guys know Indy has been my sleeper team. I've had nothing but good things to say about Indy. Looked like Phillip Rivers was about to put another chapter in his very great career that he's had so far. But Buffalo and that defense was able to withstand the onslaught by Indy, and they won the game 27-24. On the Indy side of the ball, we look at what Phillip Rivers was able to do. He was 27 of 46, 309 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. That running back that they have, Jonathan Taylor, was able to go 21 carries for 78 yards, 1 touchdown. But not to be outdone, Josh Allen, 26 of 35, 324 yards, 2 touchdowns on the day, no interceptions. Also on the ground, he had 11 carries for 54 yards with 1 touchdown. Josh Allen made a statement as the quarterback for the Buffalo Bills. Now, we know that the Buffalo Bills calling card has been defense, and we will talk about what that defense was able to do to Indy. But Josh Allen made a statement game. As you guys know, they always ask who is the better quarterback out of that draft between Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Baker Mayfield. And, you hear a lot of critics say that they would take Baker Mayfield over Josh Allen. You can't blame them for saying Lamar. We are talking about the reigning MVP at the moment until Aaron Rodgers is crowned officially. But Josh Allen took that, I guess, as a little bit of disrespect. And you see what he did, not only through the air, but with his legs. What a great game he had. And his boy, his ace Boone Coon, his partner in crime, Stephon Diggs, 6 receptions on the day, 128 yards for 1 touchdown. Man, but as I mentioned, before we started this segment, that Buffalo calling card was their defense. And that defense held Indianapolis scoreless in the third quarter. And they made a stand and they got timely stops. And they were able, again, to stop that onslaught that Phillip Rivers was trying to do with the Indianapolis Colts. And the Bills won 27-24. They move on to the divisional round of the playoffs. Excuse me. And then we look on the NFC side of things. We saw the Los Angeles Rams take on the Seattle Seahawks. And what a game that was, because that Los Angeles Rams defense, they have some monsters over there. They can rush you with the front four. They don't have to bring in 5 or 6, but when they do throw those blitz, they are nasty. You know that boy Donaldson over there continuing to show why he's one of the best defenders in the NFL today. But Jared Goff made his return from that thumb surgery that he had. He was 9-19, 155 yards, 1 touchdown. Didn't throw any interceptions. But the star on that offensive side of the ball was Cam Akers, as he also made his return. 28 carries for 131 yards on the day, 1 rushing touchdown. The boy was going to work. But what that defense did was they kept sending bodies at Russell Wilson, and Russell Wilson was never able to quite get comfortable on Saturday as he was playing the Los Angeles Rams. He was only 11-27 for 174 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Actually, that 1 interception was a pick six to the Rams quarterback Darius Wilson, and he took it to the house. DK Metcalf had a pretty good game on the day. He was 5 receptions, 96 yards, and 2 touchdowns. But that defense stood up, and they outscored the Seahawks in every quarter but the third quarter. But even in that third quarter, they held the Seattle Seahawks to only 3 points. Los Angeles Rams, your winners, 20-30. 30-20, excuse me. And then we saw on the last game on Saturday, we saw the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defeat the Washington football team 31-23. Tom Brady, he just continues to amaze everybody. Remember, the guy's 43 years old, and he was 43 touchdowns on the season. Tom Brady continued to keep that touchdown machine going. He was 22 of 40, 381 yards, 2 touchdowns on the day. Leonard Fournette decided to join the party. 19 carries, 93 yards on the ground for 1 rushing touchdown. Mike Evans continuing to be a huge staple in that Tampa Bay passing game. 6 receptions for 119 yards. Chris Godwin, 5 receptions for 79 yards. And Antonio Brown only had 2 catches, but had 49 yards on the day and 1 touchdown. And so did Chris Godwin. Man, the Tampa Bay offense is starting to click on all cylinders at the right time. But the surprise of the day was Taylor Heinicke, who came in as the backup to the backup on the Washington football team, but that young man had himself a game. He was 26 of 44, 306 yards, 1 touchdown, only 1 interception. Also, though, he had 6 carries for 46 yards on the ground and 1 rushing touchdown. Somebody say, pay that man. Oh, Taylor Heinicke was looking for a check, and he was the surprise of the day because I had never heard of the guy. And I looked, and I said, Taylor Heinicke, I was able to remember his name because it rhymes with Heineken. But Taylor Heinicke had himself a game, and he had the support of his team. And it'll be interesting to see how Washington is going to move forward because Taylor Heinicke he just showed in one of the biggest games, if not the biggest games of his young career, that he is ready to play with the big boys. And I was happy to see Taylor Heinicke step up. We also saw Cam Sims on the day. He had 7 receptions and 104 yards in the air. But when it comes to Tampa Bay right now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense is just making all of the plays. Tom Brady looks like he's on another playing level with his receivers. They are clicking on all cylinders. He has everybody in sync. He has everybody ready to win. And of course, Tom Brady is just a touchdown machine. As I mentioned, he is all-time leader in touchdown passes, currently sitting at 581. If you make a mistake, Tom Brady will make you pay. That doesn't matter if he's with the Patriots, doesn't matter if he's with Tampa Bay. Brady knows how to win, and winning is what he keeps on doing. Then we look at Sunday's matchups. We had the Baltimore Ravens versus the Tennessee Titans. And the Ravens were able to exercise some demons because, as you guys know, this was a rematch from last year in a divisional playoff game in which the Titans were able to defeat the Baltimore Ravens. And unfortunately, that was Lamar Jackson's MVP year. So Lamar Jackson came out with a lot to prove this game, and the Ravens were able to get their revenge and defeat the Titans in the Wildcard playoff game this year, 20-13. Lamar Jackson had himself a game. He was 17-24 for 179 yards in the air. He had 0 touchdowns, only 1 interception, but he made up for it with his legs as he had 16 carries for 136 yards yards on the ground, 1 rushing touchdown. Marquise Hollywood because he comes from Hollywood, Florida, 7 receptions, 109 yards, 0 touchdown. The Baltimore Ravens offense was ready to play, and they just made that one more play. They made 1 play more than what Tennessee made, and that's the reason that they were able to pull this game out. You look at the Titans' sides on the ball. Ryan Tannehill was 18 to 26. He was 165 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. But the big surprise of the day in this game was that the Baltimore Ravens defense was able to hold Derrick Henry to only 40 yards on the day. 18 carries for 40 yards. That was very un-Derrick Henry-like. A.J. Brown did chip in that receiver, that stud that they have over there. He had 6 receptions, 83 yards on the day, 1 touchdown. But again, the biggest takeaway is what that defense was able to do with the with Derrick Henry in the run game from the Tennessee Titans. Now, as we know, Derrick Henry ran for 2,027 yards on the season. But as I mentioned, he wasn't able to do that this past Sunday, and we remember what he did against Baltimore this past season. Within the regular season as well, when he went for 133 yards and 1 touchdown. But like they said, last year was last year, last game was last game. This was a whole new game, and the Baltimore Ravens were able to exercise their demons and defeat the Tennessee Titans 20-13. We looked at the next game. And can we even say that was a surprise? We saw the New Orleans Saints versus yes, I said as you know, I'm from Chicago, the Windy City, ride with me. And the Bears, unfortunately, we have a very messed up history. They got us all excited in 2006 when they went to the Super Bowl, only to be beat by the Indianapolis Colts, led by Peyton Manning and those boys. Excuse me. But the Bears haven't really done much since then. And they were able to sneak their way into this playoffs. And I saw that some people in the city were starting to get their hopes up, but not I. I gave them the benefit of doubt against Green Bay, even though I know there was nothing they could do with Aaron Rodgers or Devontae Adams. But I knew not to put any more stock within the Bears. And they lost to the New Orleans Saints 21-9. Excuse me. Mitchell Trubisky, 19 to 29 on the day, 199 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. However, that running game was null and void. They could not get anything off the ground, anything on the ground with that run game. And all the Saints did was load up the outfield and were able to double team defenders out there. But even when we had that almost touchdown by Javon Williams, he dropped that. Once he dropped that pass, we knew what the rest of the tone of the game was going to be. We knew that the Bears were not going to be able to do anything with the New Orleans Saints. Drew Brees, 28 to 39, 265 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Old reliable, as I like to call him, Alvin Kamara came in the game, 23 carries for 99 yards, only 1 touchdown on the day. Michael Thomas he had a resurgence, 5 receptions for 73 yards, 1 touchdown on the day. We just do. It was too much in New Orleans. The Bears defense did make some great stops, got some great turnovers on the New Orleans Saints. However, the Bears offense was not able to score anything, getting a field goal here, a punt here. And sooner or later, a defense is going to get tired. You can't keep having your defense go on the field and expect them to keep giving you stops when they're getting you in good field position, they're getting these turnovers, and you're not able to capitalize on these defensive stands. The Bears have a lot of soul searching to do. I believe Matt Nagy, he needs to go to the drawing board, or we need to go to the drawing board on Matt Nagy, because I saw some horrible play calling out there in that Bears versus Saints game. And as I mentioned, Saints win the game 21-9, defeating the Bears. We were able to see Jimmy Graham have a tremendous touchdown catch at the end of the game, but I guess no hurt, no harm, no foul, as the Saints were able to put it in cruise control against the Bears. And then we saw in the last game of the day, We saw the Cleveland Browns come out and make a statement against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, as we know, the Steelers had that Cinderella season. They went to about 11-0. I'm going undefeated for most of the regular season. And then all of a sudden, they began to play real teams. And Pittsburgh was starting to get exposed. We were exposed to the fact that they had no run game. We were exposed to the fact that you can have your way out there with that secondary of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that's exactly what the Cleveland Browns did as they defeated the Pittsburgh Steelers 48-37. Now I know you heard everything I just said, and you like, Rob, with the score you just said of 48-37, that didn't sound like a rout to me. That don't sound like the Cleveland Browns made a statement. It sounded like they just won the game. Oh no, they made a statement, because let me inform you guys of what they did on the Pittsburgh Steelers. In the first quarter of the game, they were able to put up 28 points. They scored 28 points in the first quarter and scored 35 points overall. When we went into halftime, the score was 35-7. The game was already over. Baker Mayfield had his way. He was 21-34 on the day, 263 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Nick Chubb's 18 carries, 76 yards, 0 touchdowns on the ground. However, he had 4 receptions, 69 yards, and caught a touchdown in the end zone. Jarvis Landry, 5 receptions, 92 yards, 1 touchdown. I mean, Cleveland was rocking and rolling. Defense able to make Ben Roethlisberger choke up the ball 4 times as he had 4 interceptions. He was 47-68 for 501 yards. Listen to that stat. 47-68. You made a aging quarterback throw the ball 68 times and thought you were going to win that game. He had 4 interceptions. And that is about the number of interceptions that I will expect to hear from somebody that threw the ball 68 times. Now, Juju Smith-Schuster had himself a game, 13 receptions, 157 yards, 1 touchdown. Deontay Johnson, 11 receptions for 117 yards. But it was too much of firepower from Cleveland. As I said, Cleveland scored 28 points in the first quarter, 35 points overall. Pittsburgh was resilient, but there is no run game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And they were not able to catch up after the Cleveland Browns came in, made their statement, and now I know that there's excitement out there in Cleveland. Know there's excitement out there in the dog pound, and I know there's some barking going on as they're happy that the Cleveland Browns team are going to be going on to the divisional round of the playoffs. Pittsburgh will be going home. Nothing to hang their hats on here. Pittsburgh, 2-time Super Bowl winners. I know that they'll go back to the drawing board and figure it out. But let's switch over. Let's talk about a person who's been making an impact in his respective sport, in his respective league. Lamelo Ball. Lamelo Ball has been doing his thing this year. Lamelo Ball has been balling, as you will. They have a lot of questions surrounding Lamelo Ball. They want to know, is he the truth? Is he legit? Is Lamelo Ball the real deal? And ladies and gentlemen, I will come and tell you that yes, Lamelo Ball is the real deal. Since scoring a goose egg, which is 0 points for most of my people that don't know that basketball terminology, in his NBA debut against the Cleveland Cavaliers, Lamelo has really turned his career around for the better. He's only scored in single digits in 3 games, one of those games including his NBA debut, one of those games being last night when he only had 8 points, had a bad shooting game against the New York Knicks. However, in those other games, he's been scoring in the double digits, and he's been instrumental in helping his team with a 6-5 record, currently sitting at 8th or 9th in the Eastern Conference. Now, January 8th, when the Hornets defeated the Pelicans and Lamelo went against his brother and the New Orleans Pelicans, he almost had a triple-double. I think he was one rebound shy of receiving a triple-double. They asked him, how would he grade his performance? And Lamelo Ball answered, I know that I could play better. It's just basketball, but I know that I can play better. Well, let me tell you guys something. Old Lamelo Ball played better because in the next game that he played, he got that triple-double. They played the Atlanta Hawks on a Saturday night, and Lamelo Ball was able to get a 22-point triple-double, scoring 22 points, 12 rebounds, and 11 assists, making him the youngest player in NBA history to record a triple-double. How you like them apples? Lamelo Ball. That boy cold. LaMelo Ball has been showing the NBA since that 0-point performance in his first game that he is legit and that he is for real and that he is here to play. And I almost think, I hate to say this, but so far in his rookie campaign, he has shown more poise and composure more than his brother did in his NBA rookie season. Now, I know Lonzo had a lot more pressure on him because LeVar Ball was new to everybody, and he had painted a target on Lonzo's back. But he's painting a target on LaMelo's back. I just think that LaMelo's game and the way that he plays had him a little bit more equipped for an NBA season more than Lonzo did. And LaMelo is legit. I mean, I would like to see him change up his form, but you know the old adage goes, if it's not broke, don't fix it. LaMelo Ball is legit. And it's interesting to see if he will be able to capture that coveted Rookie of the Year. We'll be watching LaMelo. But I also want to stay on basketball, and I want to talk about something called the Green Effect. I know you guys are asking, what's the Green Effect, Rob? The Green Effect is the effect that Draymond Green has had on the Golden State Warriors, okay? See, a lot of people like to give Draymond a lot of grief. A lot of people like to undercut or undermine exactly what Draymond really does for the Golden State Warriors, okay? You guys underestimate the Green Effect. And let me tell you a little bit about what Draymond has been able to do since he's returned from his injury to the Golden State Warriors. Because right now the Golden State Warriors are 6-4. They play tonight, and they sit in 5th place in the West. Now versus the Blazers, we saw that was Draymond's debut into this NBA season. They lost 123-98. Draymond Green came in. He had 0 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists. But versus the Blazers, they won. Second game Draymond played this season, 137-122. That was the game that Steph Curry went nuclear on when he went Super Saiyan God mode. That game that he had 62 points. I remember I was doing the Facebook Live for Robs2Cents, and my brother-in-law put that up there. Man, Curry just went for 62. I had to get off that live to go see it for myself. But Draymond had 1 point, 8 assists. 8 assists, you hear that? 3 rebounds. Versus the Kings, they also won. He went 130. He had 137-106. Draymond Green had 5 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. Versus the Clippers, they lost 108-101. Draymond had 4.6 assists, 6 rebounds. But then they came on a back-to-back versus the Clippers and won that second game, 115-105. Draymond Green had 4 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds. And the last game that they played before tonight was versus the Raptors when they won 106-105. Draymond Green had 10 points, 10 assists, 9 rebounds, and Steph Curry was having a very, very bad shooting game, going 2 of 16. Draymond almost had the triple-double. As you can see, most of Draymond's contribution is not going to go on the stat sheet. He has what you call the intangibles. He does the dirty work. He's the guy that's going to get everybody in place. He's the guy that's going to get Steph Curry open with those hard screens that he sets. He's the point forward of the team. He's the enforcer of the team. Draymond Green is a winner. As you saw in his college career, he took the Michigan State University Spartans to 2 Final Fours and won the Big Ten tournament in 2012, came into the NBA Defensive Player of the Year, 3-time NBA champion. Draymond Green is a winner. And a lot of you guys need to stop sleeping on my boy, because Draymond Green and that green effect, it works for the Golden State Warriors because they look like they were in trouble. And right now we're talking about the Golden State Warriors as playoff contenders. Can't wait to see what's going to happen when Klay get back. Oh, y'all going to be in trouble then. But we have to talk about the playoff games that's going to be upcoming this weekend, as we went from 3 games on Saturday and Sunday, now down to 2. We're going to see in that first game on Saturday at about 3:35 p.m. Central Time, we're going to see the Los Angeles Rams versus the Green Bay Packers. We're going to see Jared Goff versus Aaron Rodgers. Jalen Ramsey versus Davante Adams. What a game that's going to be. And not to mention it's going to be at Lambeau, so you know it's going to be cold. I'm from Chicago. I know a little thing or two about cold weather. And let me tell you something. It get cold in Wisconsin. Los Angeles Rams better bundle up. But that Ram defense is going to be looking to get their hands on Aaron Rodgers, much like they did Russell Wilson. Like I said, they were able to hold the Seahawks offense to only 20 points. However, they're going to have a tall task on their hand, because Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams is probably the best duo in football. Aaron Rodgers don't make many mistakes. He went 48 touchdowns on the year and only had 5 interceptions. Let that sink into you. Aaron Rodgers had 48 touchdowns on the year and 5 interceptions. He doesn't make that many mistakes, and he is able to score in bunches. And we saw what his partner in crime has done. Davante Adams had 115 receptions on the year, 1,374 yards, and 18 touchdowns in the season. Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams are arguably the best duo in football, and they still got Double A Jones, who had 201 carries for 1,104 yards and 9 touchdowns on the season. Now, even though I know the Los Angeles Rams have one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in the league, I don't think there's going to be enough that they can do to stop the Packers from scoring, and I just don't think the Los Angeles Rams can score with them. I got Green Bay defeating the Los Angeles Rams 35-20. Then we look at our second game that we're going to be playing, that we're going to be played on the day. We're going to see the Baltimore Ravens versus the Buffalo Bills at 7:15 p.m. Central Time. Excuse me, y'all. Thank y'all for being with your boy, man. I'm fighting through this for y'all, baby. We got to do this show. I don't care if I'm sick. I don't care if I'm down. If I ain't out, we going to have Robs2Cents. But we saw Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. We know that they're going to pose a problem to Baltimore's defense, because we know Baltimore can stop the run, but we've seen that they're not too good against that pass defense, and Josh Allen is going to bring it to them. We saw Josh Allen throw for 324 yards and 2 touchdowns. Stephon Diggs went crazy for 1 touchdown, while he had 128 receiving yards on the game that they just won. Buffalo is too much of a threat. We saw what they did to the Colts, so we can only imagine what they're going to do to the Ravens defense. Now, however, Lamar Jackson is right now the reigning MVP. He's a freak of nature, and because he has this running back speed, he's going to be able to put up some yards on Buffalo. Even though Buffalo defense is their calling card, unless you're going to stack up the box against Lamar Jackson, you're going to allow him to run. Because you saw what he did against the Titans. He put up 136 rushing yards. and the Titans have a very game defense. However, I don't believe that this Cinderella story is over with Buffalo. And I got Buffalo winning 24-17 against the Baltimore Ravens. Just think that defense is just going to be too much for the Baltimore Ravens. And then we look into Sunday's games. We're going to start the game off nice at 2:05 p.m. Central Time. We're going to have the Cleveland Browns versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, we know Baker Mayfield right now, he's on a roll. He's been putting on some great throwing performances, including the performance he had against Pittsburgh, where he threw for 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. However, if we want to talk about a quarterback that's been playing out of his mind, then you cannot talk about any quarterback unless you mention the name of Patrick Mahomes II. Because Pat Mahomes has been going crazy. We saw for the season, he threw 4,740 yards. He had 38 touchdowns on the year with only 6 interceptions. Not to mention, he just had some rest for being the best team in the AFC. He's going to be coming off that first week, off that first round bye, ready to play some football. Now, he got his 2 boys with him. He got his 2 homeboys with him. He got Travis Kelce and he got Tyreek Hill. Now, they caught 30 out of those 38 touchdowns that he threw. Pat Mahomes threw Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce caught 26 of them. Travis Kelce catching 11 touchdowns on the year while Tyreek caught 15 from Pat Mahomes. That's just going to be too much. That's too much that you're asking on the Cleveland Browns defense to do. They're not going to be able to stop the juggernaut known as the offense of the Kansas City Chiefs. I got the Chiefs winning 42-34 over the Cleveland Browns. It's going to be a shootout because Baker's going to be able to score 2. I don't put any validation within the Kansas City defense. So it's going to be a shootout. However, I just think Kansas City guns are bigger. 42-34 is going to be the score. And then the last game of that Sunday night that's going to end our divisional round of the playoffs, we're going to see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the New Orleans Saints in their 3rd meeting this year. Now, we know in the first 2 meetings, New Orleans put a whipping on Tom Brady and them boys. Now, they beat the Bucs in the first game 34-23 and then destroyed them in the second game when they went 38. When they scored 38 points and only let the Tampa Bay Buccaneers score 3 points. And this was back in week 4. In that game where they beat them 38-3, they held Tom Brady to 0 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Tom Brady kryptonite looks to be the New Orleans Saints defense. But let me tell you this. I am not going to bet against the GOAT because Tom Brady right now is starting to click with his receivers. In that second game that they beat them 38-3, Antonio Brown had just made his way to the roster of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and we could kind of see Tom Brady trying to force feed him, trying to get Antonio acclimated within that offense. Antonio was dead now. And not to mention Chris Godwin has stepped up his play. Mike Evans is continuing to be a staple on that offense and the leader of that receiving core. I just think right now the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are clicking at the right time. And it's just something that you learn about not betting against the great ones. And Tom Brady, no offense to Drew Brees, but Tom Brady is definitely a great one. I'm going to say in a very, very tight, close-knit game, I'm going to go with the Buccaneers to beat the Saints 23-21, and that's going to end out our NFL divisional playoff round where we're going to be going into the respective AFC and NFC championship games, with the last game after that being the Super Bowl where we were crowned the champion of the NFL season. Quick point to note with the NBA, they're now continuing to be hit hard with this COVID-19 virus. We know that Steph Curry from the Philadelphia 76ers have been diagnosed positive for the COVID. We know Kevin Durant had to sit out a couple of games due to possible exposure, but now we're finding out that the Heat and Celtics game that was postponed Sunday, they're now going to postpone the Mavs versus Pelicans that's happening today, and the Bulls matchup versus the Celtics that was supposed to happen today. So we're continuing to see a couple games be put on postpone due to this COVID. Just want our people to know that our thoughts and prayers are with them. We see Drew McIntyre from WWE. He's been diagnosed with COVID, and a couple other superstars. where it hasn't come out yet exactly what's going on. So we just want to let them know that I want to let them know that our thoughts and prayers are with them, and that I hope that they're able to beat this virus and to come back stronger and better than ever. And before I leave you guys, man, I again want to thank you for being with me. As you guys can see, I am under the weather. I am pushing myself to get this video out to you guys because, you know, consistency is always the key. And I was taught that when you have a job, it's better to get the job done. But when we speak of getting the job done, that has not been what our current president has done for us. And when I say current president, I'm talking about Donald Trump. I have never been one to get into politics or to even pretend that I know what's going on out here. But I do know what my eyes tell me and what my ears have heard. And we saw a president, a leader, the leader of leaders, incite terrorism within his own country, telling these terrorists to be there January 6th, to cause chaos, to go wild in a time where we need more peace than chaos. We're fighting a virus. We're in the middle of a pandemic. People are losing their jobs. People are losing their businesses. People are losing their minds. And you want to further your own agenda by telling your blind witnesses, your supporters, that an election was rigged. And the good American people decided to follow you and cause chaos at the Capitol building. Shame on you, America. Shame on you for the hypocrisy. You guys sat there and gave Colin Kaepernick such a hard time when he was just taking a knee, talking about what's happening to us as a people. And you took that knee and said he was disrespecting the flag, that he was disrespecting the military, that he was disrespecting his country. And then you go and cause chaos and break into a building that houses the Constitution that you claim to hold so dear. Did you think about the Constitution while you were climbing on the Capitol wall, breaking in windows, kicking in doors? Was you screaming Blue Lives Matter when you were completely disregarding officers' orders to leave, chasing officers up the stairs, trying to grab their weapons? Were you not disrespecting the military, elected officials? See, that's what I hate about America, is that it depends on who's telling the story on where we get the narrative. Because we all know if that had been 100 of me's running up the Capitol building, all 100 of us would have got shot. We saw police officers opening the gates and allowing them to come in. We got reports that the National Guard was told to stand down by the very people that we hope to put in charge. American military is supposed to protect us from all forms of terrorism, whether foreign or domestic. And what we saw that went on at the Capitol building was the prime example of domestic terrorism. Shame on you, America. Get it together. Get it right. Because when it all goes down and this country needs its people for support, you're not just going to need your white people. You're going to need all of us to stand with you and fight. And that's been my show, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you guys for bearing with me. Whew. It took a lot to get through this show. Might not be one of my best shows, but a show was going to be put out for your enjoyment and for your pleasure. I can't wait to talk about what was going to go down this next weekend, this upcoming weekend with the NFL divisional playoff round. As I mentioned before, we're going to see some great games. We're going to see two of the GOATs go against each other in Drew Brees versus Tom Brady. We got some good things happening in the NBA right now. I hope everybody continue to stay safe, to try to keep themselves safe from this COVID-19 that's going on out here. I can assure you guys I don't have that. This is just a common cold. It's funny the world we live in today. You're afraid to get sick. You're afraid to cough because you don't want people to think that you got that package. You got that vid, man. But I'm just letting you guys know this is just a head cold. Nothing a little tea, honey, and rest won't fix. I hope you guys like this video, share this video, subscribe, please. If you view this video, please just hit the thumbs up, man. Subscribe to your boy. Help your boy live out his dreams. That one day you will see me on ESPN or Fox Sports Network, hosting my own show, being a guest on Undisputed, being a guest on First Take, on Jalen and Jacoby, on Get Up, and I can keep going on and on about the various sports shows that I love, man. I appreciate all you guys' support, man. I hope you guys continue to be great out here, be safe out here, and you already know the slogan, y'all. We gone.